Etienne's injured. Aaron Rodgers is injured. Josh Jacobs is exploding. Christian McCaffrey didn't have the game you thought he'd have. We got a lot of stuff to talk about heading into week number 13. We've got injuries. We've got phone calls to take. We've got voice messages to answer. We've got a lot to dig into. The Fantasy Football Show. It begins right now.
You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al Fantasía Fútbol Novelas. Espera con el patrón. Smitty is live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al Fantasía Fútbol Novelas. Espera con el patrón. You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al Fantasía Fútbol Novelas. Espera con el patrón. You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al...
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is going on, good people? We are breaking down week number 12. We've still got, of course, the Monday night game to go tomorrow evening. For some of you, it is actually, early morning already. But we're breaking down everything we can, answering your questions, answering your super chats, taking your phone calls. That will be in a few minutes. Let's get right to some of the voice messages we might already have in the bank here. Let's see. I've got one from Jim.
Hey Smitty, what are your thoughts on AJ Brown for the rest of the year? He kind of had another quiet night tonight. He had a touchdown that kind of saved him, but only 4 catches for 46 yards. This offense is turning into a run-heavy team the further we get into the season. So, are you buying AJ Brown as a top 10 guy the rest of the season, or should we try to trade him high?
Yeah, I'd buy him. I'd buy him before I'd sell him. I get the panic. I understand what people are thinking. And A.J. Brown's going to be up and down. I think he's going to be up and down. So he's not going to be number 1, number 2, number 3. Probably not a top 5 wide receiver. To be a top 5 wide receiver, you can't really be up and down. To be a top 6 to 10, top 7 to 12 wide receiver, you're going to have big games. You're going to have some mediocre games. I think that's the nature of what separates the big dogs from the medium-sized dogs. And he's a medium-sized wide receiver one. He's not a top dog. He's not a Tyreek Hill, who can also be up and down, but Tyreek Hill's in the big boy class. He's in the big boy class with Devontae Adams, with JJ. Hopefully Jamar Chase is in the big boy class walking into week 13. We'll have more of that news in the coming days. So if you got Jamar Chase questions, I don't know. I don't have the answers. No one has the answers yet. We can only speculate that he almost played week number 12. So Jamar Chase probably playing week number 13 unless something happened we didn't hear about, that nobody's broke yet, that nobody's talking about, that the team isn't releasing. Then potentially maybe he had a setback or something like that and we don't know about it. We'll find out, I'm sure, tomorrow if there was some sort of setback. But if there wasn't a setback, we should have a good indication whether Jamar Chase is a go in week number 13. So stay tuned for that. B-Men.
Etienne looks like he's fine, but assuming he can't go next week, what's the confidence level of Jermichael Hasty next week? Or do you think it's going to be Darrell Henderson the rest of the way?
Hasty earned their trust. You never know. You never know, but I believe that if, let's say, Etienne were to sit, I don't think he's going to sit. I think Etienne, he had his helmet back on. He was on the sideline. He wasn't in the back. He was at the front, right at the edge of the sideline, looking like he was going to go back in before the first half ended. And he didn't. And then he didn't come back in the game, and then he had his helmet off, and he was talking. He was chatting with everybody. He did not look like he was in pain or anything like that. Word is he has said that he was okay. We'll find out. We've heard that before. I'm okay. Wasn't a big deal. Andrews said not a big deal, and Andrews missed multiple weeks. So we can't for sure assume that he's 100% okay, but we're pretty confident based on the way he looked, based on the way he was walking around on the sideline, the fact that he put his helmet back on and he wanted to go back in the game. I'm pretty sure that Etienne's going to suit up in week number 13, but we'll have more information tomorrow. But in your hypothetical worst case scenario world, I would say that Etienne, Hasty's the backup. He earned it. They would lean on Hasty. Henderson's not going to just come in and take over. They had Hasty on the roster for a reason, right? So Hasty but they would use both of them if that was the case. But I fully believe at this point that Etienne's going to be in week 13. And I don't want to see all the negative, like Etienne, this, Etienne, that. Like if Etienne's playing, you're playing him. Everybody's got to stop. You couldn't have seen this injury coming. And it appears he avoided a big one. It doesn't seem like he set his Liz Frank injury back in motion or something like that. And I know a lot of people are going to act like they could step away from Etienne all of a sudden. Like, I'm not going to play Etienne. He had a bye week and he didn't do well his first week back. Like, give me a break. Etienne's a top 10 overall player if he's healthy and on the field. Now, if he's hampered, we'll see. But Etienne is a must start next week. He's a top 12, top 10, top 8, top 7. Pick your poison. Overall player going forward. So get Etienne fired up if he's ready to go. We'll have more information on that as the week unfolds. So get ready for that. This one's another one from Jim.
Hey, Smitty. Aaron Rodgers left again tonight with another injury, and the Packers fall to 4-8. Can you talk about Aaron Jones for the rest of the season? Is he somebody you're trusting? And if Aaron Rodgers misses any time, is he somebody you can still play?
I think Aaron Jones will probably be okay. The offense will be limited but they may lean on him more. So sometimes when a starting quarterback goes down, you hear people say things like, "Oh, that's great. The running back's going to get used more. That's great for the running back." Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. It depends on what the team constructs, going forward, how they simplify the offense. What do they back into if they're backed into a corner? When you got Jordan Love, who's a little bit more limited than Aaron Rodgers, you gotta focus on running the football more. That's why you saw a little bit of A.J. Dillon. You saw a little bit of Aaron Jones at the same. You felt pretty comfortable with some of the things they were doing at times during this game. At least I was. I feel like if Aaron Rodgers missed time, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon would be leaned upon. Now, whether they get games scripted out by the third or fourth quarter, that's something we need to see and test out. And there's certainly no guarantees that they're going to remain relevant to a high level, high degree all game long in a Jordan Love led attack in a upcoming week. I think it's safe to say he's not going to be Aaron Jones probably won't be a top 5 running back, but could he be a borderline running back 1? Absolutely. Could A.J. Dillon be revived in an Aaron Rodgers-less Green Bay Packers situation? Absolutely. So, nobody should have been cutting him anyway. But A.J. Dillon looked pretty good. He looked pretty good. It looked pretty leaned upon, looked pretty trusted. Probably good for like 80 yards and a touchdown going forward if they do end up leaning more on the run than ever before. Christian Watson was amazing. Christian Watson's taken that step forward. This is kind of one of those things where, like I said last week and the week before, rookies come into their own in double-digit weeks. It's not just a physical rookie wall that they hit. It's a mental wall that all rookies kind of hit when they're overwhelmed by the playbook, the learning, the coaching, the scheming, everything they got to learn. It's like 10 weeks of football. Weeks 1 through 10 is equivalent to somebody going to a new job and needing a whole month before they really get things in order and they have a good handle on what their job duties are. At a month, if you do a new job, you take a new job, at 1 month, you feel like a whole new person that knows the job. You're not overwhelmed anymore. Week 1, week 2, you might be totally overwhelmed. You don't even know what you're doing. You're not even sure you can do the job. By 1 month in, you're like, I feel great. I feel like I knew, it's been a while since I've been in the workforce. I've been doing this, but you know what I'm saying. And I think that's how I feel that these rookies, when they get to week 10, week 11, week 12, whether they've been overutilized like Kenneth Walker or not really fully utilized to their whole potential, like let's say a Christian Watson, it doesn't matter. When they get to week 10, they get to week 11, they get to week 12, it's just, they got it down. It's a little bit easier. The good ones will start to rise up and do well consistently. Consistency. Why are you seeing Garrett Wilson do well? Part of it's because of Mike White. Let's get a round of applause. Mike White doing big things. Mike White, part of it is Mike White, of course. But Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, all these rookies are going to start coming into their own and being consistent. And that's a part of them learning the system, learning the game of football, the speed of football, and kind of pushing through what would have been even mentally, physically, everything, a college-length season. Once that season's kind of over and they get into the second wind, they pick it up. So Watson's going to continue to do well. Aaron Rodgers, I don't know. We got to find out more tomorrow. We got to find out more tomorrow. I think, I don't know. I don't want to speculate. Could he be out a couple games? Could he be out no time at all? Could he be worried about, his legacy and want to come in and finish strong and then retire? I don't know. All I do know is, according to the reports here, let me see if I can pull up the most recent Aaron Rodgers report. There's nothing new. The only report we have is the one that suggests he left the field, went to the locker room, apparent rib injury in the third quarter. He ended up returning for the following possession, then led the Packers to a field goal, and then he ended up going back to the locker room. So we'll see. Jordan came in, and he was decent. He showed that he could potentially move the football down the field. I was really, really pleased with the way that, like I said, they ran the ball. A.J. Dillon, 64 yards and a touchdown. He looked like he got banged up, but I think he just took if I had to guess, a knee to the thigh. And so he had kind of a stinger or a bruise. Christian Watson, 110 yards and a touchdown, looked phenomenal, catching 4 of 6 passes. Aaron Jones ran the ball 12 times for 43 yards, added 3 receptions for 56 yards and a touchdown. Both running backs were fully utilized. Really liked what I saw out of the running game in this one. But that's the problem, though, is that if the run gets game scripted out, or if the Packers are too far behind, then you just don't know what you're going to get. But maybe this will be a good thing. Maybe this will be a good thing for Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon owners if Aaron Rodgers does sit. We don't really know. We'll have to wait and see. Jalen Hurts is a maniac. This guy ran. He completed 16 of 28 passes for 153 yards and 2 touchdowns, and added 157 yards on 17 carries. Unbelievable. This monster is a top 3 QB right now. That's clear as day. The question is, where are all the anti-early QB drafting people going to start drafting this guy in 2023 mock drafts? When our fantasy football analysts are going to finally get on board with the early QB approach that we pump up here every single offseason? Early quarterback, don't do it. There's so many late quarterbacks you can draft later. Yeah, Jalen Hurts was one of those middle-range quarterbacks to draft. Nobody liked him more than we did here on the show. Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts. Those were two quarterbacks that lived in the middle rounds, not the late rounds, but the middle rounds. Middle round QB drafting. There's early QB drafting. Nothing wrong with taking a Josh Allen in the third round. Nothing wrong with taking Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow in round 6, which is what we did over and over and over. But what's going to happen is that these two quarterbacks, Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow and Jalen Hurts, and of course Mahomes and Josh Allen, are going to live in the early rounds now. So you got to ask yourself, is there another wave of big name quarterbacks like that waiting in round 6, 7 in 2023 fantasy football drafts? And I don't know that the answer is going to be yes. My answer to you right now is that the good quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts, Mahomes, Josh Allen, even Justin Herbert potentially, depending on how he finishes, they will live in the 2 to 4 round range, 2 to early 5 round range. And people need to understand that if you want an elite quarterback to carry you week in and week out, you might have to spend a late second or an early third round pick on a quarterback with a smile on your face. And if you want to go take the late quarterback drafting approach, that's fine by me, but I'll go land the Kenneth Walker like we did in 2022. And we'll take the early quarterback. Okay, we'll do that again. We'll run that back. We'll rinse and repeat that process in order to dominate fantasy football drafts. We'll take Etienne late like we did in early fantasy football drafts. We'll do that. And we'll go ahead and take Mahomes or Josh Allen or Hurts or a Joe Burrow in the early rounds. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care about how many QBs somebody thinks is floating out there in the 6 to 12 range for quarterbacks, Smitty. You could get a quarterback 8 at pick number 9, and I can use my late second or early third round on a wide receiver or running back. I don't care. I'll take a Josh Allen. I'll take a Patrick Mahomes. I'll take a Jalen Hurts. I'll take one of those top big name quarterbacks in the second, third, and fourth rounds. It's not early second round. I'm saying like bookend 2-3 turn. I'm talking about where we took Josh Allen in 2022 fantasy football drafts. Okay, so everybody needs to understand that early quarterback drafting lives, and it lives right here on this channel, and it won't stop. You know what else won't stop? Rachaad White. Nothing stops Rachaad White. Not even bad game scripting, kind of. You know, like they didn't feed him. They didn't really feed him. They gave him half a meal. They gave him one of those like, hey, I'll get a soup and a half a sandwich. That's the kind of feeding they did with this guy, Rachaad White, but he still delivered. Rachaad White season is here. Rachaad White needs to keep getting fed, and I hope that nothing gets derailed with Leonard Fournette coming back. Maybe Leonard Fournette needs another week off just to get his mentals, chickens, and all that in order. I'm kind of hoping that's the case. I do believe Rachaad White is going to continue to thrive. He was very efficient, wasn't fed enough, but was very, very good every time he touched the football. Dameon Pierce went missing. Totally disapprove Dameon Pierce right now. He's in the panic chamber if there ever was a player to put in the panic chamber. And I don't know that he's coming back. Would I cut him? No. But would I bench him? Absolutely. Especially if you've got better options. Dameon Pierce is no longer startable until he either proves healthy and used or that game script changes for him. You know, and maybe they don't want to run him into the ground because they're saving him for 2023. We don't even know what the deal is, but all I know is he's nowhere to be found, and he's not reliable, and he can't be counted on. Adjust and adapt, you know, and we got to adjust and adapt on that. Let me hit these super chats real quick that have been flying in here. I don't know if there's any $20 haulers. This first one's from Yusuf. Yusuf says, need 17 PPR from Muth to win. That's going to be a tall order, but remember, this is why you played the game, Yusuf. This is why you decided to play fantasy football, for the challenge, for the fun of it. You know what I mean? So enjoy that climb, enjoy that close call. Hey, Smitty, have Burrow, Fields, CMC, Etienne, Diggs, and CMC's another one we got to talk about. Etienne, Diggs, DK played great. Higgins played great. Goddard, Komet, Jamal, Swift, Pollard, Boyd Sutton, okay, 6-6, wanted to sell Fields high to upgrade, but he's hurt. What should I do? Maybe Fields is going to return. I don't know if he's going to return. The Bears would be dumb to rush him back. The Bears could be dumb. I don't know. I can't predict that. What I can tell you is that if I was running things and we had, we were in no playoff hopes, negative percentage chance of making the playoffs, there's no way I'd rush him back before the week 14 bye week. That's for sure. And not only that, I may not rush him back at all because this is a running quarterback. He knows no different. He'll get out there and start scrambling around. And if his shoulder's not 100%, you're putting your future and your dynasty on the line by letting him go out there injured and do what he does innately, which is run the football. So if he does come back, then you could potentially trade him. Past that, you're sticking with Burrow. He's fine. Jamar Chase is going to come back, hopefully, this week. And you're going to be okay. Etienne should be back. CMC should bounce back. He could be inconsistent. We'll talk about Etienne in a second. Diggs, DK, you got a great team. You need to let it ride. You need to let it roll out there. Jamal's fine. You start Jamal over Swift until further notice. Maybe Pollard. We'll talk about Pollard later in the week. Tough to know what to do with Pollard right now in terms of like where he fits into the pecking order of your options in 2022 week number 13. So we'll get into that. Appreciate your super chat, and I would hang tight with this team. You've got a load of talent, bro, and I don't think you're selling any of these players on the low. The guys that did bad. I don't know that I'd trade Higgins away unless you could trade him for a super high option. Maybe you could upgrade. I mean, would I trade like DK on the high for like potentially to get into an Andrews on the low? Maybe something like that. But past that, I'm standing pat. You got a really good team in a moonshot for you.
To the moon.
For dropping that $10 hauler. Appreciate you. And this is another $10 hauler from Ted. All $10 haulers get a moonshot. Appreciate you, Teddy boy. Teddy said 3 days left to trade Smitty. 8-4, second place. Have Dak, Geno, Watson, Kenneth Walker. Keep the faith in Kenneth Walker. Some people are talking bad about Kenneth Walker. If you take away his 2 touchdowns, guess what? You can't take away his 2 touchdowns. You don't get to play that game, subtract and add, and act like these things didn't happen. I don't care if his yards per carry were low. I don't care if he got drilled in the backfield and didn't have a lot of room to run. The man scored 2 touchdowns and he carried an entire football team on his back to get into the end zone. Yeah, he had some help, but that was a play that not very many running backs can take. And play out that way, dragging everybody into the end zone, scoring on that touchdown, looked phenomenal. I love the way this guy looks. He could be the 1.1 in 2023 drafts if he finishes strongly. I love Kenneth Walker. Keep the faith in Walker. Mixon, you can't sell high. Keep the faith that he bounces back. Zeke Elliott, I sell him if I can. Rachaad White, obviously you hold. Pacheco looks good. He's a good sell high candidate if you need to upgrade at wide receiver, which we're getting to. Waddle, Olave, I like that. Christian Watson looks fine. I would sell him on the high if it improves something somewhere. Kelsey's your tight end. This is a really good team, unless you can trade Mixon and Christian Watson for a safer running back. I would potentially, in your situation, go after Etienne. I would go after Etienne. I would look to try and trade. Maybe you trade. I don't think you're going to get it done, but like you could potentially trade. I mean, people have done crazier trades, bro. Crazier trades than this, but you could potentially, if he's quarterback needy, you could send him one of your quarterbacks. You could send him Dak or Geno and start Deshaun Watson if you want to roll the dice. And then give him like Pacheco and a Christian Watson, try and get Etienne injured and on the cheap. I mean, there's things you could do like that. I would go after potentially like a Lamb. I would send maybe a Pacheco for a Mike Evans if you're interested in a wide receiver. But while everybody's crapping on Mike Evans, and nobody wants Mike Evans that owns him right now, they're so fed up with him. And I understand why, and I can understand why somebody might want to not go acquire him too. But I think he's a good player to go get. Okay, appreciate those super chats, and let me see if I can get some of the chat questions. Saquon or James Conner rest of season? Come on, Gus. I mean, just a little bit of time has gone by where Saquon hasn't, delivered what you've wanted him to deliver. I don't think you can just downgrade him out from what was top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 overall if you were drafting from this moment moving forward like a couple weeks ago, from that point going forward. I don't think you can just in 1 or 2 weeks. People are so quick to just pull somebody from a top 10 ranking There's no way I'm going to say that these are the same players. Do I like Connor going forward? Absolutely, but we can't talk like this. We gotta have faith in our studs, bro, that got us here. Christian Watson or AJ Brown rest of season. There's a debate to be had here, but I don't think you need to make this trade. Like, I would rather have AJ Brown, but in a sense, you could do a downgrade for Christian Watson, get another running back upgrade or tight end upgrade or some kind of upgrade somewhere else or additional player without playing this 1-for-1 game. So Christian Watson and what he can maybe get me in trade over AJ Brown, maybe, depending on what we're talking about. Would I rather have AJ Brown over Watson straight up? Absolutely. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. And hit that thumb up button. We only have 70 thumbs up.
Hit that subscribe button if you're new, and wipe your feet at the door.
Please punch that button for your boy Smitty. We've got 270 people in here and only 71 thumbs up at the current moment. Appreciate you dropping that. Connor, top 7 running back rest of season. It's possible. There's nothing wrong with that kind of stance at all. Down 15, JT versus nobody. Am I due for pain? Dude, enjoy that. Ian? Like we need to stop dreading a close race, a climb, a fun contest. Like, this is why you decided to play fantasy football, to be down 15 with JT left. And then to have, I'd rather have this than win, than know that it's over. I'd rather have this. I'd rather enjoy the game rooting for 15 points out of JT, Lance. You know, like, why are we gonna really dread this dilemma right here? You have the player. You're not sitting there helpless. You have the player, and it's JT, and you need 15 points, and you're worried about it. No pain, Ian. Enjoy this moment. JT's going to the moon for you on Monday night, pal.
To the moon.
We need to enjoy this. We need to enjoy fantasy football again, guys. I don't care if we're dealing with injury. You know how many calls I've had go down to injury that make me feel like this is unfair. This is unfair. Breece Hall, Javonte Williams, Jamar Chase, looking pretty good, aren't we? As a show, as a community, and injury strikes. Etienne, injury strikes. But we gotta adjust and adapt. We have to still win. We still have to figure out how to get motivated, hit the waiver wire, make the good trades if anybody's still got trade abilities left. No fear, okay? No fear. No one's holding us back. And if anybody loses or anybody's struggling, this is a long haul, okay, what we're doing here. This is a fantasy football college of knowledge here to teach you how to play the long game. This isn't just 2022. This is learning for 2023. This is for Dynasty. This is for everything. How bad is the Etienne news? Is the injury? Scotty, it doesn't seem to be bad. We'll find out more tomorrow. Nobody knows. But according to reports, he says he's fine. Again, we've heard that out of Mark Andrews before, and he missed several weeks, so we can't 100% know. But we're pretty excited about the prospect of this guy sitting there with his helmet on, wanting to go back into the game and not going in. We're pretty excited about what that tells, the picture that paints for next week. But we don't know. We're not sure yet. So hang tight, Scotty. We'll get information on that. First, Herbie is back to top 5 QB. Need help. Need to keep up. Will CMC bounce back? I think so. Ugly game. Right. I'm not panic. What are we writing here? Fragments here? Right. I'm not panic. Mitchell out to now. St. Brown heating up. Let's have the computer read this. What is going on here, bro? Okay, here we go. Let's have the computer read this because this is, I don't even know what I'm saying here. I feel like a robot speaking.
Avi Hoffman, first heat right IS back top 5 QB. Need keep up. Will CMC bounce back? I think so. Early game right. I'm not panic. Mitchell out to now. S.T. Brown heating UPPP.
I don't know. I don't know. Look, all I'm going to tell you is this. Let's get to the CMC topic because this is a good topic right now. This is a good topic. I believe Christian McCaffrey's going to be inconsistent moving forward. I believe he will have blow-up games. He will have mediocre games. He will have games where he's having 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he will. I'm just kidding with you, Avi. I appreciate your super chat, by the way. Too many words. Speaking spell. I think we're not going to see consistency. We're going to see a player that everybody loves, like Jacobs. All of a sudden, Jacobs is top 5 running back to everybody. They act like last week they weren't doubting him. Everybody acts like last week they weren't asking me in their flex spot, do I start Jacobs or Rachaad White or Jacobs? Like Jacobs is now a top 5 running back to everybody in the world after 1 week again. I understand why. I get why. I'm not clowning on why, and I'm not disagreeing that he doesn't look like a top 5 to 10 running back. He absolutely looks like a top 5 to 10 running back right now. But my point is, one game did that. Christian McCaffrey comes out and has 125 total yards and 2 touchdowns next week, and he very well could. Everyone and their mother is going to be back on the Christian McCaffrey wagon. Everybody, just like they're back on the Jacobs wagon. And if Christian McCaffrey comes back out and has 60 total yards, 40 rushing, 60 receiving, no touchdowns, 3 receptions, everybody's going to be in panic mode again. I predict CMC will be up and down again. I don't think Eli Mitchell getting injured and being out for the year or however long it takes, sounds like he'll be done for the fantasy season for sure. I don't think that Eli Mitchell leaving this lineup, this co-run running back by committee is going to necessarily change anything, because look what they did. They immediately put out the rookie, what's his name? Blanking on his name. Jordan Mason. They immediately put Jordan Mason out there, and Jordan Mason started doing Eli Mitchell things. I don't think it's going to change. I think maybe they lean on McCaffrey a little more. Sure. Because McCaffrey could be a little bit closer to being up to speed with where Mason is than where Mitchell was. Mitchell knew the offense, came in from last season, had everything under control. Like, McCaffrey's going to be competing with Jordan Mason to be like, okay, who do you trust more? Let's just give CMC more work. It's possible. But what do we know about Jimmy G? He's not a great quarterback. As much as people want to hype him up and act like he's really, really good, he's a winner, he's not a very good quarterback. He's like a spigot on a hose that's this big, shooting water out. You put a spigot on it, you barely turn, what do you call it? A nozzle on the spigot, I'm sorry. And you turn the spigot on, and you have the hose with the nozzle on, and the nozzle's barely turned on. And it's just kind of spraying out water. You know, not very far, about as far as a Jimmy G pass, about 12 yards. And that's it. And you got all this water trying to get out and rush. That is what it's like. The 49er offense is loaded. It's probably the most loaded offense in the entire NFL. And there is a restrictive nozzle on the end of this hose that's trying to shove all this water out at once. And it's going to be a slow drip. And there's nothing you can do about it. The only thing you can hope for is that the slow drip turns one or 2 yard catch to Deebo Samuel into a 60-yard touchdown. That one small 3-yard pass, 5-yard pass, 7-yard pass gets taken by Christian McCaffrey, 45, 60 yards for a touchdown. Jimmy G is going to score multiple touchdowns that way. Jimmy G's not going to throw missiles all over the field. Maybe he has one game where he throws for 3 touchdowns that really are kind of all him. It's possible. He's an NFL quarterback. You can't be an NFL quarterback without having some talent. But this is a guy that ranks inside my 25 to 32 overall quarterbacks that are currently starting in the NFL. And you can throw shade on that all you want. I don't see him as an elite talent. He is a mediocre quarterback that is surrounded by so much talent, he can look and be disguised as a pretty decent quarterback at times. But how is he going to deliver consistency for Christian McCaffrey going forward? This was our concern from the very jump when this trade went down. Bad for Deebo, bad for Christian McCaffrey in some sense coming from Carolina to San Francisco. It would probably be the most beneficial for McCaffrey out of everybody that's involved. You know, he's going to be the focal point of the offense, which he certainly is when he's being used. But there's a lot of talk, and there's a lot of analysts and former players that have weighed in on this, that when McCaffrey's on the field, you kind of know the ball's going to him because he doesn't know the entire offense yet to pick up some of the pass protections and the blocking schemes that are involved in this very complicated system. And so when he's not actually getting the ball, he'll oftentimes get taken off the field. And so when he's on the field, you kind of know that he's going to be maybe the first read, or he's going to potentially be in the call. But, I think that's going to change as he learns more. He's a very astute player. He's very, very hungry, very intelligent. He grew up with the Shanahan family. This guy probably sleeps with his playbook, probably the hardest studying player in the entire National Football League. So I know those things about Christian McCaffrey, and that's why I think that eventually it becomes irrelevant that the offense is new to him. But it's still new to him. There's still a lot of nuances and things that they're not trusting him fully to do. And it is a double-edged sword. It is a two-sided trick coin in a way, because if you feed Christian McCaffrey enough to make him relevant, he will probably get injured in this offense that injures player after player after player. And I don't want to hear that the San Francisco 49ers are no different than any other team, that it's football, you're just going to get hurt, Smitty. Guys get hurt in football. I don't want to hear that, because the Niners injure players more than any other team in the National Football League, especially at the running back position. They had 7 running backs last year, and all of them were injured. And Deebo Samuel had to play running back, not wide back. He had to play running back for a series of games because all of the RBs were hurt in the running back room. There's something wrong with that. And nobody's looked into it. No one appears to want to look into it. We don't know what the reason is. Is it because the scheme is so aggressive to running backs, the way that they run this offense? We don't really know. I've talked to players. I talked to Eric Davis, former 49er defensive player, that talked about it. And he said, it's hard to explain. Like, no one really knows. I forget what his answer was exactly on this. We tried to dig into it. We tried to ask people that have real good, deep knowledge on the game and in San Francisco, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. Why everybody gets injured, but no one's looking into it. And so your double-edged sword is that you're putting Christian McCaffrey, a player still trying to shake free that injured label, into a system that injures running backs more than any other system in the NFL. That's a scary proposition when your double-edged sword is, do you give them enough carries to warrant a potential overworked situation, and try and run that risk, or do you dial him back to make sure you keep him healthy and then he doesn't produce? It's a double-edged sword, and it's hard to know with only week 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 left, 5 weeks. Maybe you can overwork him and not injure him. It's tough to say, and that's why I don't think there's any guarantees. There's no guarantees he's getting injured. There's no reason to run away from Christian McCaffrey if you own him. I hope I haven't scared any current Christian McCaffrey owners away from holding him. It's either sell him high or you hold him, and you run the risk that the 5 weeks left of football, he can continue to stay on the field and healthy. It's very possible. 5 weeks is not a lot of time, but all it takes is one game. All it takes is one hit. All it takes is your body wearing down, and there is concern there. Is Eckler an avoid in 2023, Sandu? That's a really, 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 really good question, and I believe I do have...
Smitty will now provide his Dynasty analysis.
This is a great question. The topic here is Austin Eckler from a Dynasty angle, and we're going to start taking Dynasty very seriously on this channel. And so Sandu's question deserves and commands some respect in an answer. Eckler turns 28, I believe in May, if I'm remembering correctly. I believe in May he turns 28 years old. Let me tell you something, okay? It's going to be very rare for a running back in today's world, in today's NFL, to have a very successful top 5 running back season. From a fantasy perspective, and to be a top 5 running back from a fantasy perspective, you need volume. You need to be fed a ton. You can't do that off small usage. To be a top 5 running back, for Eckler to be a top 5 running back in 2023 and beyond, but let's focus on 2023, even though that's redraft in a sense, it's dynasty thinking in a way. For him to be elite in 2023, he's going to have to be an anomaly beyond anomalies, because now at 27, you're on borrowed time. Eckler's on borrowed time. Henry's on borrowed time. To be 28 years old, walking into your 28-year-old season, and continue to play at a volume that you need to be, a serious volume that needs to be fed to you to play at that level, it's asking a lot. It's not, this is the new 30. 28 is the new 30. Can you be an elite running back at 28 years old like you used to be able to do at 30? Yes, but it was very rare. The odds of Eckler's body staying healthy and on the field are astronomically high. The odds of him, getting injured are astronomically high. The odds of him staying healthy are tough odds to swallow. I know everybody's going to argue he's different. He's Eckler. He takes care of himself. He's been running like a running back between the tackles the last few years. If anything, I'm worried more about Eckler than really any running back walking into 2023, given the cost of entry, the likely cost of entry. Eckler will be a complete avoid for me at top 5 overall value in 2023. I could be a year early. He could be an anomaly, but history and probabilities will tell you that this is not a good bet to bet on Eckler in 2023 and beyond. I think the same thing will 100% be the same for Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's got 5 weeks left to stay healthy, and there's still a very, very scary chance that Henry will hit a wall of some sort right around this week's 13, week 14, week 15. Hopefully he doesn't. And if Henry does escape these next 5 weeks, you will see me avoiding Henry like the plague in 2023, because he will have escaped he would have got through one more season that the odds were kind of against him. Some will say it's because he missed half of last year and he was able to rest and put less mileage on. Some will say that it's because he's built different. Some will still say that Henry's the 1.1 next year in 2023. You will have me avoiding Derrick Henry and Eckler like they're the plague walking into 2023, because at a certain age, it is a complete avoid for me. And 28 is that age at running back. So whether it's redraft 2023, whether it's Dynasty 2023 and beyond, these two guys, Eckler and Henry, will be complete avoids for me in Dynasty 2023. And ask yourself, go try and trade Eckler in Henry in a Dynasty league. You won't get anybody. You won't be able to even get a 3rd round type of player. You won't be able to touch a top of the 3rd round player for Derrick, using Derrick Henry in a trade. And if you drafted in a Dynasty startup for 2023 and beyond, it's tough to say where Derrick Henry is going to go. So that's my thoughts on this. As far as the rest of 2022, you got 5 games left. I think if you own Henry, you ride it out. There's no other thing you can do other, especially with most people's trade deadlines gone. Look, the time to panic, the time to sell is probably over. Ride Henry out. Henry had a bad game kind of this week, so it's not like you can really sell him on the high anyway. So let it ride. It's 5 weeks. Hope he doesn't get hurt. And I definitely wouldn't attack Henry in 2023, redraft or Dynasty. Stevenson over Eckler in 2023. Sandu, I mean, we'll have to play Stevenson's value. We'll have to play it by ear as we exit out. You know what I'm saying? Smitty, honestly, you think it's promo code time. Lost Cooper Kupp. Chase, you didn't lose Chase. He'll come back. Herbert, Mooney, Damian Harris, and Swift never showed up. Your thoughts? I mean, if you have Damian Harris and Herbert and Mooney as your top options to show me, I definitely going to give you that promo code. Promo code Smitty gets you $100 bonus match instant on your first deposit at Underdog Fantasy. Go to Underdog Fantasy, link in the description of the video, promo code Smitty. But you got to have more than this, bro. You have Jamar Chase, Herbert, Mooney, and Damian Harris. Those are your guys. That can't be. Swift and Chase should still do okay. But yeah, that's going to be pretty tough. That's going to be pretty tough. Pretty tall order, my guy. Okay, let's get back to these super chats. Yeah, Avi, I got super chats, bro. I got to cycle through everything, bro. I got to make the show entertaining. I can't just do the super chats. I'll rotate through them, Avi. I won't forget about you, pal. First, Herbie is back to top 5 QB. Already got that one. Thank you. Here's the newest super chat by Mr. Avi. Avi, appreciate you. Avi to the moon, dropping multiple super chats in this show. Avi says Dolphins 49ers is a great fantasy game. Hill CMC bounce back. Yeah, I think Taysom Hill bounces back. I'm sorry, Taysom Hill. I think Tyreek Hill has a huge day. Hopefully, Tua's okay. Because Tua got bent back bad. And just so everybody knows, the Cardinals and the Panthers are on bye in week number 13. Then we got the dreaded week 14 bye week. So get ready for that. But as for Tyreek Hill, I think he has a big game. I think CMC does have a big game, and then potentially has that on and off. Big game, mediocre game, big game, mediocre game, big game, whatever. 5 weeks, of that. So it'll be up and down. Watson going forward, I don't know about Watson, bro. Watson or Tua? Come on, you got to start Tua as long as Tua's healthy. But Tua got rattled, just completely bent back. His back looked like it snapped, like it could have snapped on that hit. It was horrible. Tua gets rocked all the time. It's crazy. Appreciate you, Avi, for your super chats. And yes, I agree with you. I think bounce back performances are in order for both players, and I think you'll have a good day if those are your two dudes. No one has worse luck than me this year. Cup, Swift, Jamal Williams, Breece Hall, Kyler, first 5 picks. I'm sorry, Nady. We'll get you going next year, pal. I appreciate you. Blind Larry says, talk about my loss if you want entertainment, Smitty. I forget what your loss was, Blind Larry. I forget what happened to you this week with your team. I don't remember. I don't remember, bro. Rachaad White to the moon. Absolutely, Casey. Appreciate you. Wrong button. Rachaad White to the moon. Appreciate you, my guy. Let's see here. Smitty Superflex League. Aaron Jones. Let's see here. I was reading the wrong one. Would you trade Kirk Cousins and Aaron Jones and Ayuk for Geno and Henry? Aaron Jones, Ayuk, Kirk Cousins. Yeah, I would definitely do that trade, bro. Go get Henry. Do it now. Like, that's what I'm talking about. I lost Breece, Javonte, Eli Mitchell. I mean, I could top all of these, I think, or at least be equal to some of you. I have in my long-term fantasy football buddy league with my buddies, which is the one I like the most because it's like the long-term league I've done for 2 decades. I had Javonte, Breece Hall, St. Brown, Jamar Chase, Etienne. I've had 1 or 2 other guys that have gone down too, but I've had it bad. I've got rocked. I practiced what I preached across the board in that draft, and if I had kept even one of Javonte or Breece Hall, it'd be over. I've got Etienne, I got Walker, I got Pierce. I had Pierce too. I've gotten rocked in that league. Burrow's been suffering, because of the loss of Jamar Chase. It's just like I've just been getting hit hard. I've been hit hard in that league, but I'm still trucking along. I may not make the playoffs now. I have the best team in the league. I think I'm like 40 points out of first place in total points, and I'm probably not going to make the playoffs because I've been losing people left and right. Breece Hall, Javonte getting hit hard in the middle of a week, and it's been crazy. My brother stole Amon-Ra and Zeke for Tua. Sutton, and now I hate him. Look, I mean, Tua's good, bro. I mean, it depends who his quarterback is, but Amon-Ra I love, of course, bro. I love Amon-Ra. Let's hit the phone lines.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Whoa. We got everything in the world going on. Sorry about that. Phone lines, here we go. Jim, appreciate your 2 voice messages, Jim. Let's see here. I think we got all the voice messages off the books here. Appreciate you guys dropping those. Thank you. And then the phone calls, we'll take some phone calls for just a little bit. And then I don't know how long we'll go tonight. Here are your bye weeks. Again, if you need them for the Cardinals and Carolina Panthers are on bye. It's nice to have a lot of the guys back on Sunday. The Sunday slate of games was a little light because of Turkey Day and pulling 6 teams away from the Sunday slate, so it felt a little light. This Sunday was a little rough. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Smitty, what's up, man? It's Matthew.
What's up, Matthew? What can I do for you?
Good, man. Good. I'm working an overnight shift right now, listening to your show.
Attaboy.
Great night.
Attaboy.
So, man, I just wanted your opinion on Rachaad White. Rest of the season, I think he played really well this week. You think Lenny's going to come back and start?
I don't know. It feels like it could definitely be a Pollard Zeke situation, or it could be something new. We don't really know. I think I don't know. I'd be lying if I said I had a real good feel as to what they're thinking, but I think had they won,
For sure.
it would be different. The fact that they lost this game by, 6 points? I don't know that their feet, you know what I mean? Like if they had won and everything was jiving, they might be like, coming out like Mike White. The Jets are like, look, if you think Mike White's not starting this next contest, you are out of your mind. Like it is 100% lock that Mike White is starting week number 13 because the team's behind him. He was doing an interview after. They practically picked him up as like 3 or 4 teammates, shoving him around, grabbing him, and that like this. He's got the locker room, So like had Rachaad White and Tom Brady in the Bucks exited this week 12 overtime game with the win, then it would be like nothing's changing. We're doing this. But now they might be like, well, how do we get back to winning like we were the other weeks and it's like, so I'm a little bit nervous about what Rachaad White's role is going to be. If it were up to me, it wouldn't be I wouldn't even hesitate because you're seeing great production out of him. Maybe he'll sit another week. I don't know. But to answer that question, I can't answer that question. I can only tell you I'm hopeful and I know what I would do, but we have no clue. We have no clue. They said they roll a hot hand.
I get you, man.
So
yeah, I was hoping he scored a touchdown and kind of like secure the spot more, but
yeah,
I feel the same way.
How do we feel about Mike White, man? I'm telling you, I'm just so excited that he got a shot again. I've been waiting for this for a whole year, like more than a calendar year. I've been waiting for this. People make fun of me all the time. Mike White.
He looked good.
It was the Bears. I understand, but people said that about the Bengals the year prior. It's always an excuse as to why he looks so good. Oh, it's the Bengals or is the, it was rain. Guy was a surgeon out there. It's more than just who did you play. It's looking at the windows that this guy threw in a tight little window, just delivering lasers, and the way he motivated his team, and also the way that the team rallies around him. They fully believe in him. Like if this was just more of like they're playing bad teams, he got lucky 2 different matchups that he's done this. Yeah, that I could understand, but the team understands how good he is. The only question I have is how dumb does the staff have to be in some respect to not have seen this cut like this? I feel like I've been screaming this for a while. Like it was very easy to see for me that Mike White was the future of this team, and it frustrated me that they didn't see this when Zach went down the first time with the knee injury. They shoved Flacco out there, and that was frustrating to me because it was his opportunity to get a shot, and I don't know why they didn't give him that little window of time to do what he's doing right now. But everything happens for a reason. The momentum's here. Let's let it ride, man. I just wish Breece Hall was here for it because Breece Hall would absolutely explode under Mike White's command because that guy's a check down king. You'd have Breece Hall on games where he's facing a tough rushing situation, either by game script or by defensive matchup. You'd have this guy grabbing 7-8 receptions for 90 yards and a touchdown. You wouldn't even care that he had 20 yards rushing. So I'm excited. I really hope Breece Hall rehabs very, very fast. I have a strong feeling. It's all gut. I have no evidence whatsoever. I haven't talked to anybody close to the situation. I just have a strong gut instinct that we're going to hear words and terms like Breece Hall's looking as good as ever all of a sudden, like, very early on. Like, I can't believe he's cutting already. Can't believe he looks this good. I have a feeling we're going to hear about a really quick recovery, and that button that I want to press so bad, get Breece, we're not touching it until we have a really, really good feeling about his return and he feels like back to some degree.
I'm hopeful for Breece Hall, man. He's a stud.
Yeah.
He's a stud. And I don't like the Mike White excuses because I don't think Zach Wilson could have done what he did this week.
Nope. Mike White is in the rain, bro. In the rain. This guy was a surgeon, laser focused on everything. Like I'm so excited for him. All right, I gotta let you go, bro. Appreciate you. Later.
Appreciate you, man. Have a great night.
Yeah. What's up, Blind Larry? You're on the air, bro. You're live. Oh, Blind Larry? Oh. Try calling back, Blind Larry. Walker or JT rest of season. You got to go JT, I think, for right now, but that doesn't mean that both aren't top 5, top 6 running backs. You know what I mean? Like, that's no disrespect to Walker. Walker is, I think JT's offense is built a little bit more around him than Walker's is currently, but doesn't mean that can't change within a week or two or just going into 2023. He could be the 1.1. Pick up Mike White, probably Marcos, but it depends on your options. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to? Hello? Hello? I don't know what people are doing tonight. If this happens a third time in a row, we know something's wrong with my phone line, but I'm pretty sure I heard them rattling around. They probably muted themselves and then forgot to unmute themselves. I don't know. This has been the worst fantasy football year ever. I'm sorry to hear that, Slim. You know, we've had some bad things happen, but it's still a very good year for the most part. Like we've been knocking some stuff out of the park, despite some of the roadblocks we've felt unfairly faced against. You know, like the Breece Hall, the Javonte. You know, we complain about it every once in a while because it's just so fun to think about what we'd be doing to our league mates if we had those two guys in our lineups. You know, on top of everything else we got going on with Walker and what was going on with Etienne that I think will continue with Etienne, what's going on with Rachaad White, what was going on with Tony Pollard that I think will continue with Tony Pollard. We got a whole lot going on. The cousin tripod crew in AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, one of the moon men, just looking phenomenal. He looks so legit. He carries people week in and week out. 100. What do you have? 100. What was it? 100. How many yards was it again that he rushed for tonight? Just unbelievable monster. This Jalen Hurts. What was the amount? Avi, you're live on the Fantasy Football Show.
All right, what's up?
What's up?
I'm a little concerned about McCaffrey. I'm going back to the days. I kind of wish he was still on the Panthers.
Of course.
Just because how their offense looks and stuff. Mitchell's hurt now, so I like that, but...
You like that? Hey,
McCaffrey for like.
Careful, people get really mad at that. You don't like that he's hurt, but I know what you're saying. He laughs again. Way to double down there, Avi. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but like I said, I mean, I went on a whole rant. I don't think I need to repeat the whole thing, Avi. But in a nutshell, I agree with you. He's in an offense where they can't facilitate the football to all these big monsters they got. You know, Kittle's still a monster. We just don't think he is because he's not. If a tree falls in the forest and you don't see it or hear it, did it really fall? Is Kittle really good if you don't see him play well? You know, from a fantasy perspective, is he really a good fantasy player? We have no idea. And so I feel like there's just too many weapons for CMC to be consistently leaned upon. Maybe that keeps him healthy and is a good thing for the team. But I think he'll be up and down. I believe he'll have a big game this week. But then what happens the next week? Everybody's going to think he's back and everything's going to be normal coming out of next week.
I know.
You know.
I think he's in the mix like RB 4 to 8. I'm going to say now. I won't say he's top 3 at all.
Are you in a closet,
yeah,
Avi?
I still believe in him.
Are you in your dorm room closet? Why does it get so muffled?
I can't really wake up my parents.
So are you under the sheets or in the closet? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay. a little pillow talk with Avi. Avi, I appreciate you, pal.
Yeah. Yep. St. Brown.
Oh, I think his parents came. He had to hang up. His parents walked in. Who are you talking to? Who's this guy, Smitty? Who are you speaking to in the middle of the night, sonny boy? You got school tomorrow. Appreciate you, Avi. Don't want you getting in trouble. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Godwin over Gabe Davis rest of season. Yeah, for now. I'm comfortable saying yes to that. I still think both of them are going to be fine. My pick next year, round 1, Allen, round 2, Hurts, round 3, Fields. My picks next year. Yeah, I don't think you want to take Allen in round 1 because you probably won't have to. The industry won't require it. So you'd be wasting your pick if it's a normal 1 QB league, bro. Don't take him in round 2, and you'll be laughed at enough in round 2 that'll be plenty of pushback that you're gonna get. That you can laugh back at them when it works out. Don't be taking a quarterback in round 1 because you don't have to. Not because the industry's right. I push back on the industry. Early quarterback for me. I'm an early quarterback advocate. You'll find no analyst in the industry that advocates early quarterback more than I do. But you have to be smart about where you take players, and Allen will fall into round 2, at least the middle of round 2, if I had to guess. And maybe we'll approach it as we go. If he has like 4 touchdowns in 3 or 4 straight games, everyone and their mother's going to start creeping him up to like the 12 to 15. But keep in mind, the industry will probably brainwash everybody into taking them in the 20 to 24 to 20 to 27 range at the very highest. So be careful with that. But you've got a friend in me, Quantum, when it comes to early quarterback conversation and content, and you're going to get your heavy dose of early quarterback content from me, and I'm going to tell you exactly where I believe the optimal position is to grab these early quarterbacks. I got your back, bro. Flo, we're going to do it together. Is Garrett Wilson a wide receiver 2 rest of season? Let's call him a low-end wide receiver 2, high-end wide receiver 3, just to make sure we're curbing our expectations properly so the upside is still there to completely rock our worlds when he does it. Won a matchup today thanks to you, Smitty. I appreciate you, my guy, and thank you for your super chat. 300 people in here, only 111 thumbs up. If you guys can punch that thumb up button for your boy Smitty. Let's get those numbers a little closer together, the 302 and the 111. All right, those are rookie numbers. Let's pump those thumb up numbers up. 6 and 6, half PPR. Mike Williams and Dameon Pierce for AK and Thielen. Take AK and Thielen and run. Like what's Mike Williams? What's Dameon Pierce right now? Like, give me AK, who at least, I know everyone's given up on him, but give me AK, who I can either flip or hope that he does well next week and turns everybody's expectations around again, because that's what he'll do. If anybody thinks AK's done and gone, they're joking themselves. Is he consistent? No, he's not consistent. Will he go up and down? Absolutely. And so for that reason, I'm acquiring him any chance I get at this buy low, seller dweller pricing, ham sandwich type price tag, bro. Take Kamara and run. But just know as you're running, he's going to probably be inconsistent. But he's certainly a guy you want to take at that value. Yeah, all right. Do that. Super chat, Smitty, and double check. Thank you, Travis. Appreciate your support and you pushing people in that direction to drop a super chat. Never expected, always appreciated. Let's get rid of this bot here. I got it taken care of. Okay, Kamara for Andrews is good too, you think, Travis? I would take Andrews over Kamara for sure. I think Andrews didn't blow up, but I think he's going to have, he's going to start rebounding a little bit more. Appreciate everybody. Anthony, appreciate you. I'm down 26, got JT tomorrow. Do I have a chance? Absolutely, Nicholas, and enjoy the show, okay? Root for it. Have fun with it. Don't get upset or down. Remember, this is why you played. The chase of it, bro. The excitement of it. I'd rather be down and have a guy left than to be the person out in the lead with nobody else going. You know what I'm saying? Let's see here. Dial in if anybody's got a question.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Mark Cleveland dropping a $20. Mark Cleveland in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Cleveland in the house. Great show, he says. Great super chat, Mark. $20 holler. Mark, you want me to call you right now, Mark? You want me to call you? Do you got anything that you want to talk about or discuss with your team? I will dial you up this very second, and we can discuss it. Let me know, Mark. I'm going to look for your yes or no on that. This is a call from Luke. Says, shout me out, Luke. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to?
Hey, man, this is Corey again. What's going on?
What's up, Corey? What can I help you with?
Hey, bro, it's a quick question.
Uh-huh.
I have JT, and I know he has a Week 14 bye. Who do you think would be a good running back to pick up in place of him? Maybe as an RB2 or so.
Well, can you give me a list? because I'm not.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I'm
My
not.
fault,
I'm
my
not
fault.
totally psychic.
I have JT, Jeff Wilson, I have Foreman, and I have Rachaad White.
Okay, are you talking about picking up a player or using one of your players? Because you said pick up. Okay, so I thought you said pick up. So JT's on a bye, and your options are Jeff Wilson Jr.
Yeah.
Who else?
Foreman.
Okay.
And Rachaad White.
And Rachaad. Okay. Well, Foreman's not the answer. It's between Jeff Wilson and Rachaad White. And so this is week 14. Let me pull up week 14 because I don't have week 14 memorized, believe it or not. Your boy Smitty doesn't have everything in his noggin. I can only fit so much in. It falls out if I try and hold too much in. Looking at this, we got the Niners at home against the Bucks. Or not the Niners. Yeah. I was looking for. Oh, so I was like, why am I looking at the Niners? I'm looking at Rachaad White. Rachaad White at the Niners. So that's a tough matchup. But it's not something I'm running from. And then Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson is we got so many teams on a bye week 14. Let me just pause for a second.
Smitty, what about this, man? Who do you think is a good? I know it's kind of like it's very late in the season. Who do you think would be a great running back to pick up, just in your opinion?
But aren't you using one of these two guys?
One more time?
You're talking about trade? You're saying pick up. Like, you're not going to pick up somebody over these guys. But you're saying, like, trade for?
No, I'm just trade or who would be a great, temporary.
I mean, you got two of them. You got two of them right here, bro. And you got the Miami Dolphins facing the Chargers, and that's in LA. So I don't think there's anything you need to move because for everything that you got to go get, bro, you got to get rid of something. You got to dilute something. So JT going on a bye doesn't make me just want to trade him away. Like if you could trade him for Kenneth Walker and get something in return because fair market value kind of commands that you get more for JT, then I would go ahead and try and maybe do that. If you could get a St. Brown out of your wide receiver, let's say you could upgrade Christian Watson into a St. Brown, and all you got to do is quote unquote downgrade your JT into Walker. That's something you consider. But like, am I like trying to solve this problem when the answer's right in front of your face, bro? Like people would kill to start Rachaad White and Jeff Wilson, and you got the opportunity to do that, and you want to go looking for something else. I don't know that I would. I think you got all the options right in front of your face. It comes down to Rachaad White and Wilson. I think Wilson against the Chargers is a really good play. I think you got to wait until the news and the feel and the flow and where Rachaad White's in this offense, how he's structured into the offense at that point to make the decision. But you don't need to look anywhere, man. You don't need to dilute anything to go solve this problem. This is why you have these guys.
I was thinking that maybe I'd need like a high end RB2, maybe a low end RB1 to replace JT just for that week.
Are these guys going to be on your bench then? Are these guys on your bench then?
No, these guys are on my roster.
Okay, so you're starting them. Are you starting them anyway? Because this is how you started off. You said, "Who do I replace JT?" These are the options you have to replace him.
Got you. Okay, my fault.
No, so you're you're starting all three of them then?
Good.
Maybe we should start over.
Yeah, I started all.
Okay. I mean, bro, I feel like there's a plethora of options that you could go attack. Let me pull up some rankings here from thefantasyfootballshow.com, where you can go find your year-round fantasy football rankings.
I like the plug.
Let's see here.
I'm also hoping to trade Deshaun Watson once he comes back. I have some guys who are looking for CBs in the league.
Okay, so running backs you're gonna want to acquire, but again, like at what expense? I don't know that you're going to be able to. Maybe you get You're starting Jeff Wilson and Rachaad White during Week 14, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So who are your wide receivers?
My wide receivers, I have Higgins, I have Olave, I have Pickens, Garrett Wilson, and Moore and Jameson Wilson. But Jameson Williams, is on IR.
So do you start all three of these wide receivers and still need Jeff Wilson, Rachaad, and one more player, or can Garrett Wilson be your flex? Or what's the bye week look like?
I guess I just wasn't sure if they'd be strong, like a strong start to replace JT for that week.
Let's see. I got to see the bye weeks because there's so many bye weeks.
Yeah.
Olave's on a bye. Olave's on a bye. So Garrett Wilson, Higgins. I don't know, bro. I mean, the only thing I can tell you is maybe you look to. I don't know what that Walker owner has, but like Walker and St. Brown for something like, I would take if that guy's down on Walker. But Walker scored 2 TDs. I don't know how down he's going to be on him. Like some people are down on Walker going, he only got, X number of yards and the TDs weren't there. He wouldn't be good. I'm worried about him. So I don't really know. The guy that you're dealing with might not be worried about him. But honestly, bro, I wouldn't go trading anything. Guys to target if you want an extra running back, bro, for that week. I would say a good player to target low is Tony Pollard. Because people are worried about him now. DeAndre Swift is still a decent player to acquire on the cheap. I think Pacheco is still pretty attractive to buy low. Brian Robinson, maybe his owner thinks that's fool's gold and they want to get rid of him, but he did have a big game, so you might have to overpay there. James Conner is no longer cheap. Cordero Patterson is pretty cheap to go acquire. I think Ramondre is not going to be that cheap to get. Dameon Pierce, I don't know if you should even trust him, but he could be attainable. Wide receiver, if you're going to go after a flex, I suppose, Evans is a really good buy low right now, but I don't know if he's going to be in your price range without touching your big guns there. I just don't see you getting a good enough replacement, bro, without depleting what you got unless you do a JT trade. I got to jump to these other callers, bro, but I appreciate you calling if you've got a more definitive question, okay?
Gotcha, man. I appreciate you.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Later. Okay. That one was a little all over the place there. It's not, part of it probably is my fault, but I definitely feel like we started that question out differently than I thought. Mark Cleveland, appreciate your super chat. Did Mark want to call in, or me to call him? Mark Cleveland. No, I'm good, he says. Okay. I don't mind helping you with your trades on air, Mark, so just let me know next time and we'll dial you up and we'll get group consensus voting on it, because there's nothing better than getting a group think on a question, you know what I mean? Full PPR, Rachaad White plus Pittman for Amari Cooper. I'm keeping the Rachaad White Pittman side. And we'll find out, in this upcoming Monday night contest whether this really was an amazing hold because Pittman could have a nice game, or it's kind of a wash, or I still believe Rachaad White could be more valuable than Amari Cooper, but you could argue that Cooper and Rachaad have similar value with the risk involved, and maybe Lenny coming back and taking away from Rachaad White like Zeke Elliott's taken away from Pollard. So very arguable sides of both these sides, but I would lean on the Rachaad White Pittman side of this one, my guy. Pretty easy call for me. And Quantum with another super chat. Quantum says, phone lines are still open. Dial in if I missed you. I feel like Blind Larry called, but then he hung up. Blind Larry, call back in. Reason QB's first three rounds by week 4 best trade bait. Yeah, Quantum, but are you saying you would actually draft all 3 of those guys on one team? You can't do that because you can't guarantee people are going to make trades for quarterbacks. People are weird about trading for quarterbacks, especially early on. I definitely wouldn't be assembling multiple. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show.
Hello?
Hello?
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to you.
Oh, okay. Hi, City.
Hi, oh wow,
I was
Sean.
just wondering. Hi. So yeah, my trade deadline's coming
Hey,
up.
oh wow. Hold on 1 second. Blind Larry, hang tight, okay? I got you on hold. You're next up.
Yes, sir.
Just hang right there. Okay, go. Oh wow, Sean, you're up.
Mhm.
Sorry.
I mean, you can go first if you want. If you have something to do.
I think Blind Larry's good. Just leave him. Let him
Okay.
go ahead. Oh wow, you were there. Let's go.
Okay. Yeah. So my trade deadline's coming up by the and I think by this coming like Thursday or something like that. And I just wanted to like see whether there would be any trades you'd make before my trade deadline. If you wanted me to like list out my team.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So at QB, I have Mahomes. My starting running backs are Kamara and Connor. My receivers are Adams, Diggs, and my flex this week was Rachaad White. And my tight ends are HB is who I'm running right now because I have Dallas Goedert in the IR. And then as for my bench, I have Amari Cooper, DeAndre Swift, Cordero Patterson, Jamar Chase, Darius Slayton, and Kyron Williams.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was wondering, like, would you recommend I use any of my players to buy low on anyone this week, or I don't know, make any trades to improve my starting lineup come playoffs? Because I feel like I have a lot of people on the bench that I maybe could use to like make my starting roster better.
For sure. The only problem is Kamara just crapped the bed like hardcore. You know, left a deuce right in the middle of the bed, and so people are going to be fearful of getting in that bed, bro. So I don't know. You could
been doing it for a few weeks now.
I do feel like though there are a lot of people like to fly close to the sun. There are a lot of ambulance chasers. There's usually 2 or 3 in every league. So I feel like if you couple Amari Cooper with Kamara, you're gonna find somebody that looks at that risk a little. It's psychology of fantasy football. I'm not even trying to overpromise. I know I'm gonna deliver on this. I'm going to create the best library of fantasy football, trade negotiation, draft pick trading, how to approach different draft partners and their styles of trading, how to do this, how to do that, all relating to strategy, fantasy football, how to dominate the 1 pick, how to dominate the 12 pick, how to dominate the 8 pick. It's going to be a fantasy football library that'll be on thefantasyfootballshow.com. I'll put it in. I'll put it in the content package as well, but you could also buy just this library, access to the library. But I'm going to explain a lot of this stuff. But the psychology of adding another player into Kamara. So if you just try and trade Kamara, you're going to have all of the responsibility on Kamara's shoulders in terms of, or the owner that's acquiring Kamara is going to feel all of that weight and risk on Kamara. It's I don't want to have Kamara. He feels risky. The moment you add in a second player, this is why 2-for-1s are effective, and trying to explain the rationale behind it, what happens in your mind is you give Amari Cooper, and all of a sudden Amari Cooper gets to carry a lot of the responsibility. Then you start looking at a Kamara, and you say, Kamara's not as risky because I do have Cooper. So now I'm kind of looking at the upside of Kamara because I've got 2 players. And now I'm trying to think about best case scenario, what if both of them do well? And it tricks you into thinking that, and it's not always a trick because sometimes it's a good, you need to divide and conquer, right? We do it all the time. Maybe the person buying believes in Kamara bouncing back, and he certainly could. Maybe the buyer believes in Amari Cooper even getting better with Deshaun Watson, and he could. So we're not like necessarily saying that the person acquiring both is going to get screwed in this deal, but to give away Kamara now is impossible. To give away Kamara and Cooper is not. And so you've got to ask yourself what running back is very even equal to Alvin Kamara in a lot of people's minds, not everybody's mind, but a lot of people's minds, because if you think that the player you're getting is better, you can sidestep out of Kamara in what looks like a lateral trade, but will be a safer vehicle to drive in. That player could include Walker. It could maybe include Etienne depending on how we feel tomorrow about Etienne. I would, if Etienne looks good to go, be very tempted to trade Kamara and Amari Cooper for Etienne. If I felt like Etienne was going to be back and fully healthy, I'd do it for Walker. I'd do it for Josh Jacobs, who you wouldn't be able to do that for now. Barkley's a guy that also played very, very badly that people are worried about. And so I think you could step into Barkley very easily.
So you think you would do both of them for just like, so for example, you would do both of them for just Kenneth Walker, or would you try to like get someone else?
You kind of have to, because in order to have what I just explained to you take effect, you can't do a 2 for 2. You know, it's not going to have the same effect. You need to lay off the risk. If you add another player in, now they're looking at the 2 for 2 saying, well, I'm giving him this and this. And then they start trying to look at the even Steven. Then you start having them doing the addition and subtraction on the trade. What am I gaining? What am I adding? Whereas if you give 2 players, you can't calculate it. It's confusing, and it makes them go, I got 2 what ifs in this deal versus him getting 1. I'm going to go ahead and take it. And if Barkley just disappointed, then you're in the same boat. You're a disappointing player for my disappointing player. I don't know if I want to do that. Kamara for Barkley? I don't know if I want to do that. What about Kamara and Amari Cooper for Barkley? And then it's like, okay, Barkley did struggle too. What if? What if? Now you're saying what if? What if Kamara could bounce back and I have Cooper? I'll do the trade. So it's all about attacking it like that.
So do you currently value Connor more than Kamara then?
It's hard to say yes, but maybe. You know, I have to think that Kamara is going to bounce back. I think Kamara is much like Christian McCaffrey. He's going to have big games and bad games. Do I think that Kamara is going to bounce back and be a running back 1 in week number 13? He's got to bye in week 14. That's another thing you got to worry about unless you've got a playoff. Are you locked into the playoffs?
Yeah, I am. I should be good for the playoffs.
But you might have an owner be like, I don't want him with the bye week coming up, so that's going to be another potential roadblock for you. But you could go after JT, who has a bye week, and so therefore you're giving up Cooper. But you almost have to wait and see if JT has a mediocre game, because if he blows up, you're not getting him. If he has a mediocre game, I almost guarantee you this will be an option for you. Whether he accepts it or not, he'll mull it over. If he has JT has a bad game and has a bye week, you're kind of playing with even playing field. All right, I got to let you go. Oh, wow, Sean, I got to get Blind Larry on. I appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
All right, call back if you have another one. Later. Blind Larry, I'm sorry about the wait. What can I do for you, pal?
What's going on, Smitty? Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfect.
Right on, man. I'm out here in Pluto. You told me there was a moon man, but you didn't never tell me I'd be playing Pluto man, dude. I got beat so bad today.
You got Pluto.
And I'm hearing these people.
Well, Pluto's not bad. You're on Uranus.
And off he goes.
Man, yeah, I'm somewhere out there, wherever it may be. I got beat 193 to 122 today. I was like, yeah. So these people that are worrying about, and last week I scored 164, but these people that worry about 15 points, if they ain't having fun with this game, my man, they probably shouldn't be playing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. But I just wanted to say, man, that I got beat pretty bad. It's 193 to 122.
What's your team? What's your team? And can you trade still?
Nah, no more trades.
What's your team?
Burrows, Pollard, Singletary, Myers, Peoples-Jones, Kelsey, Tucker, and what's my flex? Burt.
Yeah.
Today, and then the Chiefs defense. But I was playing Josh Allen. I was playing Sanders, Josh Jacobs. Who else?
Yeah, that's a rough trio in Singletary, Myers, and Donovan. Peoples-Jones is okay, but that's a rough trio. You literally need to have, and it is possible, but you really need to have Kelsey, Burrow, and Pollard become world stars.
Yeah, Pollard and Singletary did well for me pretty good last week, and then they just turned around 180 degrees, man. It was like, what happened? You know, I never scored 164 before, and then this dude turned around and scored 193. I was like, that's cool. Whatever, man.
Well,
but I was just, basically just trying to tell these people, man, if they're worried about 15 points, they need to ride with it, because at the end of the day, that's 2 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? That ain't nothing. Plus the yards to get there.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, Blind Larry. You got anything else you want to add to the conversation or anything?
Yeah, man. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't yet, man. This dude's pretty good at what he does, and I take his opinion pretty well. So this is my second year, and I've already finished higher than I did last year. So
appreciate you, man.
If that means anything to anybody, keep listening in, man. Y'all get it right. Hopefully, I'll get it right next year.
Yeah, well, Larry, we're gonna get you squared away. Did you get your sign in for the fantasyfootballshow.com? We're gonna have you winning next year. You're not gonna do better than next year. You're gonna win.
I think I'm 90% blind, bro. So I think I emailed you right, my man. I really can't see that well, so I went to your website or whatever, and then filled out my email and then sent you a question. I don't know if you got it.
Yeah, I sent you
I'm not very tech savvy.
Okay, I sent you a login.
Oh, you sent me one?
Yeah, I sent you a login. Check that out. Hopefully you can get in there and check it all out. And there will be a video course section. I'll even send you the link that you can bookmark the link exactly, and it'll have all the videos for the entire video course section that will help you trading and all that.
Right
so
on.
that we're gonna have you winning your league, Larry. Okay.
That'll work.
Appreciate you, Larry.
I appreciate it, man. Hit that like and subscribe, y'all.
Appreciate you, man. Okay, that's Larry. Larry's the man. Okay, let's see here. Avi, Pacheco and Gus Edwards, thoughts, good flexes. I mean, Gus Edwards is shaky, bro. Shaky as can be. But I love Pacheco. The only thing about Pacheco is he's got a little bit of Dameon Pierce situational, concern. Like at any moment he might not get volume or something. It could change for him. They could run, multiple backs, and it could definitely change at any moment. But yeah, I probably say Pacheco is still looking really, really nice. But he's definitely got a little bit of that concern. I totally thought Smitty was full of crap a couple months ago, but he's been pretty spot on, to be honest. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that underhanded comment, and I'm glad you found us. Okay, and we'll try and prove you even more wrong every step we take. $1,000 for the points in my league and $700 for the best record. I like when total points wins at least half the pot. I really think that's the way to go. I like the Super Bowl being a big prize winner, like a half the money. And I think the way I would structure it and the way I recommend is to have almost half of the same amount, maybe 10% goes to the highest scoring week of the entire season. Whoever has the highest point total in a single week. That way you give people something to play for until the very end. And they set their lineups all week, because at any moment you could be the highest scorer of the week and get that 10% of the pot or something. And then the remaining of it, split it and give it to the points winner and the Super Bowl winner. And if you're really the best team in your league, then you're going to win both of those a lot of the time. So it's a great way to give winner takes all, but also give two prizes, Super Bowl winner, points winner. And when somebody has a season where they're literally the best team in the league, they deserve all the money. Nobody deserves second place. There is a second place. You just can get first and second if you want. That's the best way to structure a league prize, in my opinion. Let's see here. Smitty knows his football. Thank you, Casey. Appreciate you. Larry sounds like a very humble guy. He is a very humble guy. Larry's. That's why Larry's in the speed dial here now. I know when Larry's calling, and I can answer it. Let's see here. We got any other super chats? I got to get out of the way here, and then let's. Does anybody want to leave any more voicemails on the voicemail line? We got Corey here. Corey dropping a super chat just out of appreciation for you and your show, homie. Appreciate you, Corey. Thank you. Appreciate you. Live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Smitty. It's Yusuf.
What's
can
up?
hear me?
Yusuf, what's up, my guy? I appreciate all your super chats and support.
Yeah, man. So I have an offer right now where I get Devontae, but I give up CMC. So can I just give you like a rundown of my running backs and wide receivers?
Yeah, real quickly before we even get that, let's take a vote in the chat so you can get a real good feel of what the player for player value is. Because right now you had CMC 2 weeks ago as the number one overall to most people because he finally had that big game. You know, everyone thought, okay, this is what it's going to be moving forward in San Francisco. And then now he's fallen flat, you know, a couple games. So let's ask the chat. In general, without knowing his team, would everybody rather have Adams or CMC moving forward? And let's get everybody to vote. And then we'll look at your team and see if anything changes. But I have a feeling that Adams is going to win this one. Adams. I never get through when I call, says Rick. I'm sorry, Rick. I got people on hold, too. I answered like 2 or 3 calls at once and let people mouth breathe into the phone until I got to yell at them. I try and accommodate everybody so much. So you can try and call in again if you want. I'll put you on hold if you won't mouth breathe, and you'll sit there patiently. Okay, so dial in. Adams, CMC, Adams, bro. CMC. I've never seen a more overwhelming vote for somebody that just, you know, when the other player was like 8 or 7 overall, 9 overall, wherever Adams was a couple weeks ago, and Christian McCaffrey was 1. Yeah. It swapped. It flipped so quick. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's understandable and it's logical. Because now we really do our fears, even Ron Navy, who's in the building, our fears, especially Ron Navy's fears, came to fruition. And I think they're not like temporary. It's not a scare. This is a situation where this coach, Kyle Shanahan, not only injures his players, I mean, you know, and you could say he's not injuring him, his scheme is injuring him. The team, the way they practice, whatever, we don't even know why. No one knows why. But not only are we worried about injury, we're worried about usage. All right, give me your team, but I'm pretty sure I know the answer. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm in an 8-man.
Okay.
My running backs were CMC. I also have Saquon. I got Etienne off waivers like 5 weeks ago, and then I also have Pacheco. And then my wide receivers are A.J. Brown, St. Brown, and Lazard. And then also Treylon Burks.
Let's put Burks in your lineup, okay?
Okay, and yeah, that's it.
Over Lazard. All right. Yeah, so this is tough because you gave us you're not tough. This is how should I say it? You're balanced. You're very balanced here. And I think whichever way you go, it doesn't really affect the balance. So if you take CMC away and you put Adams in here, I don't think it does anything to the balance of your team because it's really a flex spot in a way, right? Or you're starting Saquon, you're starting Etienne, you're starting St. Brown, AJ Brown, and Adams, right? And then Burks is an additional flex or no? Is Burks?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and 1 flex. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't even use Burks is on the bench. Okay. So Burks is on the bench.
Yeah, Burks on.
Pacheco's on the bench. So nothing changed. I moved CMC to your flex spot in a sense just for argument's sake or to explain it. Nothing changes. The question is, does your team look better? According to the chat, Adams was better. According to the chat, your team does look better. According to the chat, you didn't destroy or dismantle the balance of your team. You need to punch the trade. Now, this is assuming Etienne's healthy. You could wait until the morning. I do believe Etienne will be healthy, but I think Adams, A.J. Brown, St. Brown, Saquon, Etienne, you got Pacheco is probably a better move for you. I don't think if you had no running back like 2, then I would be more worried. Yeah. I think people are going to freak out about Etienne. I'm not. but I would wait. If you can wait until the morning, have him propose the offer. Make sure Etienne doesn't have some kind of, okay, well, we thought it was okay. We went and checked it. There's an MRI done, and he's got a torn something, whatever. So we got to wait. We got to wait. But be prepared to punch it as soon as you know Etienne's pretty good. And worst case scenario, you got Pacheco, but he could vanish, and then but you got 5 weeks left.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards it. To be honest with you, I'm leaning towards it because I feel like Adams is like more consistent. Because CMC, he might be up and down the rest of the way. I don't really know, but Adams, like, I'm getting his targets. I'm getting like the consistency from him.
Yeah, is it PPR?
It's half PPR, yeah.
I mean that doesn't kill the trade for me, but it definitely it wish it was PPR. Then I'd be. But
Yeah.
I'm still liking it, but that does suck that it's not PPR. It's not full PPR. It's half PPR. But CMC's a pass catching back, that gets affected by that at the same time. So.
Yeah. Okay. And Smitty, I have one more question.
Mm-hmm.
So like my quarterbacks were Fields and Deshaun Watson. So this week they were both out. So I kind of had to trade Jeff Wilson for Geno Smith. So I had to play Geno this week. So next week, considering Fields is available, who would you play, like, out of those three?
Fields and who? Name them again.
Fields, Geno, and Deshaun Watson next week.
I mean, if Fields is playing, you got to play Fields, but Fields probably won't play. But we don't know. We don't know that. We don't know that. So, looking at the matchups for next week, I mean, Geno's going up against he's on the road against the Rams. That's a pretty decent matchup. And then Watson is it's a revenge game.
The Texans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably, man, I don't know. Geno's probably safer, but part of me wants to roll with that revenge game, but that's his first game back, man. Could be a little rusty.
Yeah.
What does the chat think on that? I'd be very curious to know if you guys are gonna hands down vote revenge tour Deshaun Watson. But I mean, he looked rusty in the preseason. It's not fair to judge him in the preseason, but it definitely didn't help our confidence in him coming back and going nuts right away. Like if he had not played at all, I think we'd be all amped up. But the fact that he came out looked rusty, I think that kind of hurt him in terms of like how confident we feel. But let's see what the chat thinks. They're coming in here. It's a 10-second delay. Let's see what the chat's thinking. What are we thinking, guys? Going Watson. Geno is so consistent, says Vamp. Smitty, would you trade Aaron Jones? Now's not the time to trade. We're doing a vote. I'd go Geno, Fields. But Fields, we're going to assume Fields is out. If Fields is playing, you play Fields. I actually think Watson will be good. Didn't throw.
Yeah, because I was considering Fields
Watson,
a lot,
Geno,
considering what Hurts just did to the Packers. The way he was just running all over them.
Bro, Fields starts, he's a go for sure. Geno, Watson. The chat seems torn. I think Watson is... OJ says Mike White. Geno, Watson revenge game. It's torn, bro. I mean, if you need a safe play, go Geno. You want to roll the dice and you need like high risk, high reward type of thing, then go Watson, I guess. But it's close, bro. Trust your gut.
Okay.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Later.
All right, man.
Later.
Love you, Smitty. Thank you.
Appreciate you. All right, next caller. Sorry about the wait. What can I do for you? Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, it's Tony, man. I'll get straight to it. I got two questions for you. First question is, I know this might be kind of wild, but I've been holding on to Watson. Is it kind of a risk playing him over Josh Allen against the Patriots?
You can't sit Josh Allen, man. But here, let me tell you a little story though. Last night we had a bunch of people come in here and say, blah, 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 Etienne or blah, 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 Etienne or blah, blah, blah. And I said to them, you can't sit Etienne. You can't sit Etienne. Now, granted, I can't predict everything, and I couldn't see the injury coming. And Hasty got fed pretty good. Like, Etienne would have had a day. So I can't see those things coming, but and anything can happen. So you need to trust your gut. You know, those people that didn't trust me, that trusted, you know, the other player other than Etienne made out. You know, I'm gonna miss sometimes. I'm not gonna hit everything, but like I'm not sitting Josh Allen, man. I'm not sitting there's just no way. There's no way. Zero chance I'm ever sitting Josh Allen.
Not even against the Patriots, right?
I'm not sitting him. I think you can bring the best out of this guy in a tough matchup, but it's just you know, Watson, you don't know what you're getting. You know, it'd be different if you had like Jalen Hurts or something, you know, and you somehow traded into that. But like you can't sit Josh Allen, man.
I guess like, you know, sometimes the points projected, like it throws a lot of us off, you know, and they're projecting Watson like what, close to 30 points. I don't know.
Who is?
This is Yahoo Sports.
Yahoo. I haven't played Yahoo in a decade. Let's go here. Let's see what Watson's projected for on a couple different platforms.
Oh wait, what do you play?
Well, I mean, I play ESPN and Sleeper and all the different, you know, formats. But let's see what projection. I don't know if they have a projection for him yet up. I don't know. I'm trying to pull it up, but I don't care about the projection. Like the bottom line is, you know who creates that projection, bro? His average, and then maybe some human element to it. You know, like where there's probably some algorithm involved, or maybe a human element that says, what did he score on average over the last, you know, they don't have anything to go off of, you know. So somebody probably have to manually, because if there is a computer algorithm involved in coming up with Watson's projection, it's probably taking his previous starts that he's had that's on a consistent average level and then factoring in some kind of schedule and risk, and then it comes out 30. And then some human factor comes in because they get a bunch of emails and complaints from people that say, oh, how can you have 30-something points for a guy that's never played in 2 years? And then all of a sudden you see him drop from 30. You've seen this before. It drops from 30 to like 23. And you're like, oh, why did that fall? It's because a human stepped in and said our algorithm's taking the average this guy used to score and pumping it up. So don't listen to the average. You know what the average says when you come out of your fantasy draft? When you draft a team that's the fantasy football show geared, it says you did awful. It says that Kenneth Walker, what are you doing with Kenneth Walker? He's going to score 6 points a game. You know, what are you doing with Etienne? He's not going to be good. And you can make fun of Etienne all you want, all you Etienne haters out there. He's coming back. All these projections are always wrong. We always have the worst ranked teams, middle of the pack, last in the league. I take offense. I take great offense when I'm ranked really high by the algorithm coming out. You know, because I'm taking sleepers.
They work the other way around too, because like they project Cordell Patterson every single week to get like 12 points or something, and now I don't really trust them that much.
Yeah, don't let that. I know everybody wants to see their team projected higher, and it's a nice little. I don't know. I think their projection to win can sometimes be accurate, you know, or feel pretty close, but that's during the game, you know. Like the projection beforehand, don't worry about it, bro.
Okay. And then I'll shoot my last question. My last question is, we know that White did good today, and we're hoping that he gets like, you know, at least 60 of the timeshare, or maybe even 70. But should I keep him in my flex, like moving forward these last 2 weeks, or should I consider? Because I'm the guy that always asks you about Gus Edwards, Deontay Foreman, Patterson, Marquise Brown, Jacoby Myers. I mean, should any of those guys even be considered for a flex, or should I just keep White in there, even though Fournette's probably come back next week?
White over. Give me the options again.
Yeah, sure, of course. T. Patterson, Foreman, Gus Edwards, Jacoby Myers, Marquise Brown.
I mean, it depends on. I mean, no, the answer is Rachaad White, but it depends on what happens in the next couple weeks. Every week we got to take it 1 week at a time. You know, because we don't know what the team's going to say, how they're going to project the two to play together. We don't know if injury will step in the way of anything we're talking about here. So, but Rachaad White's your locked-in player for now, and he played by week. Locked in. Dude's a monster.
Okay, over Foreman.
Yeah, I mean, Rachaad White put a lot of big-name players on the bench this week in the fantasy football industry, and he delivered. He didn't even get fed enough, but he delivered. He also put Lenny on the bench before Lenny got hurt in the same game, and people forget that he was essentially benched already in that game that he got hurt. So,
right,
yeah, just for now, lock him in for now. Right. There's nothing you can do right now until we hear what the plan is, and the plan probably is going to be roll with the hot hand. The hot hand's Rachaad White, roll him out there. But then if things go awry and Foreman, looks amazing, then you put Foreman in. But I don't think anybody here is starting Deonta Foreman over Rachaad White. Rachaad White had a coming out party and he did well, so.
Yeah, he did.
All right, bro.
And would you real quick, sorry, would you start Michael Pittman Jr. or Marquise Brown moving forward?
We'll have to play that by ear as the week rolls on and we start hearing about Hollywood and everything. How he's looking, is he having any setbacks and all that. So, all right, bro.
Fair enough, Smitty. Thanks, man.
All right, later.
All right.
Trey, or no, this one's from Avi. Avi says Pacheco and Gus Edwards thoughts. Good flexes. Again, I like Pacheco. Not a big fan of Gus. I think there's a lot of upside in Pacheco, but there's also risk. But risk I'm willing to take on. And Angel with the super chat. Angel said thoughts on Moore with White. Now I think Moore bounces back. Look, Moore wanted to be traded. If you went up to Elijah Moore right now, mark my words. Mark my words. And maybe he tweets something like this, and we hear it and buzz about this from Elijah Moore. If you went up to Elijah Moore right now and said, okay, you know what? The NFL approved a late trade. You can't do this. This is a fairy tale. Okay? This is a hypothetical world here. Roger Goodell will approve a one-off trade. We can send you away right now. Elijah Moore would say, no, I no longer want to be traded. I don't like Zach Wilson. I love Mike White. Mike White is our starter. He's leading us to wins in the promised land. In his mind, I want to stay, and I want to catch footballs from Mike White. I guarantee you that Elijah Moore would refuse to be traded if he had the ability to refuse or deny a trade right this very second if the NFL would allow it, which they won't. It's fairy tale storytelling here, but this guy loves him, and I don't blame him. And I think that he could be wide receiver 4 or 5 capable right now. Bye weeks and injuries, you might use that kind of guy, and then we take it game by game. Okay, Garrett Wilson's the number 1. Garrett Wilson looks phenomenal. Elijah Moore is wide receiver 4 or 5 capable. He's a must-add. He'll be on the waiver wire show for sure. I don't know where I'll slot him yet. But, yeah, Mike White is that impacting. Mike White is that good. Mike White is that exciting. Mike White is that motivating. Mike White has that kind of morale-boosting capability. And you can laugh at me all you want. Like, people have laughed at me for over a year when it comes to Mike White. Oh, Smitty thinks Mike White's the next Tom Brady. I get laughed at all the time for it. But guess who's laughing now? Not me. I'm laughing now. I'm laughing all the way. All the way to my couch, where I'm watching Mike White create magic on the regular. Let's see here. Smitty, am I going to win it all? ER wants to know if he's going to win it all. Bro, you win it all and you drop a big super chat after you win it all, bro. You come back and you say, Smitty, here's a 20 spot, bro. I won it all. Atta boy. Give me a mashed potato. I can see it now, bro. I'm playing Garrett Wilson over Mike Evans next week. I don't blame you, Big Drop. I don't blame you at all. I'm not sending you on. If you thought you were going to initiate a lap right now, you're wrong. Like, I understand that. The great Mike White. That's right. Packers, surely not starting Rodgers again. We don't know what's going on with Rodgers, you know. We'll find out. Etienne durability just scares me. And they're acquiring additional running backs. Yeah, but everybody needs a backup, bro. Henderson's not taking anybody off the field unless they're injured. And we'll see what's going on with that. Hang tight. Hang tight. My bad. You were answering the other Travis. Smitty, you're the GOAT. Thank you, Nori. Appreciate you. These are predictions you've been right about the last couple of months. Thank you, Josh. This is why Josh now likes me. Josh didn't like me. Josh thought I was a potato sack. Just a nothing. Just sitting there on a couch, on a comfy couch. Probably thought this was a green screen behind me. But now Josh believes. Now Josh is here. Josh, even if I'm wrong, I want you to be entertained. You know what I mean? Like, part of this is entertainment, not a show. I'm not blowing smoke or throwing mud at a wall just hoping it sticks. I've been doing this for 20 years, Josh. I've been on radio mostly. This is the last 4 years I've been on YouTube. But I've done this professionally on radio for 19 straight years prior to YouTube. Now 4 on YouTube. But part of what I want you to have as a community, Josh, and I believe you have that now. We welcome you with open arms. But entertainment. This is an NFL show. This is a news show. This is a fantasy football show. It does get very fantasy football oriented with the super chats during the season. I understand that. But what other show hands out mashed potatoes, Josh? No other show. The answer is no other show, Josh. And so I want you to be thoroughly entertained. I want this to be your news source, your place you go. Because, Josh, I go live whenever news breaks. I'm live Monday through Friday. I'm live when news breaks. I'm live on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at midnight. And I want you to know you can find me if news breaks. If something happens with Tom Brady, he retires. If Aaron Rodgers retires tomorrow because his thumb falls off, I will be going live. And you will know that you can find me here. Appreciate you all being here. Mike White over Rodgers. Probably. You've been ahead of everyone else on picking up players like White and all those guys. Absolutely, Josh. Appreciate you, man. Clayton says, half PPR start DK over Debo rest of season. I am curious though, Josh, real quickly back to Josh. What was it that made you thought I was full of crap, you said at first, and then you've been listening for a while and now you like the show. What made you think that? What did I say? What were the couple things that made you? I just want to know. I'm just curious. I won't get mad or anything either. What made you think that I was full of crap initially? I just want to know. It's piquing my interest. Half PPR start DK over Debo rest of season. Probably, man. Debo, look, I don't mean this in a bad way, but Debo looks a little out of shape. Am I the only one that's going to say it? He looks a little out of shape. He looks like he's carrying a little extra LB action. And that leads to injury. He's already been banged up several times this year. He got banged up in this game. Looked like he was going to be potentially out for a while, like the way that this went down. He went down, looked like he got hurt. You carry extra weight, it adds potential injury risk. Your body's not used to carrying that weight, especially when you're moving so fast. This guy's going at 20-something miles per hour down the field with extra weight. You're making cuts, you're planting. Your knees aren't used to that kind of weight carrying, and you make sharp cuts. I'm just saying. And I have been saying this, David. This isn't the first time I've said it. I guess I'm saying it again. But Debo is carrying some extra LBs. And I know he's been eating well. He got his new contract. But this is a concern. Debo definitely got a wide body build. Yeah, he's definitely a thick boy, but I feel like it's a little different. I feel like he's a little bit heftier, for what he's trying to do and how he's trying to operate. That's all I'm trying to say. Does anybody else feel that way? Like, I mean, when you see him, he looks thicker than normal, dude. He looks like he's carrying some extra LBs. I'm going to say DK. DK's got like 7% body fat or something. Almost too thin. Debo is stout. Yeah, but he's always been stout, but he's thicker than normal, bro. And he's trying to move at the same rapid pace, cutting on the same knees, holding, it's like a door hinge, bro. The door gets heavier and the hinges don't change. And the knee ligaments, the knees, those don't change in size. You just got to wonder, you know what I'm saying? Kyle Lowry. Tater Toddy is, what's he saying here? I'm sitting here. I'm gonna. This is too long, bro. How am I supposed to read this? Let's have the computer read this, because this is too long for me.
I watch on my Xbox and sit here with my phone on mute and follow the comments and such. That way you get 2 views: beaming face with smiling eyes, grinning face with starry eyes, cross-eyed grinning face with stuck-out tongue, cross-eyed grinning face with stuck-out tongue. You are a number AWHANNN. Up pointing index with light skin tone code. Up pointing index with light skin tone code. Up pointing index with light skin tone code.
Appreciate you, Tater Toddy. I'm glad we read that. I'm glad I didn't skip over that novel. I let the system help me. I like that. Appreciate you. Let's have. I think everything Tater says we should have it read. Okay, let's read this one.
Tater Toddy to boss my let del piggy, pig face, face with tears of joy, face with tears of joy.
Tater Toddy. Let's just make this a Tater Toddy segment. Here, what else does he have? Give us something else, Tater Toddy. On his Xbox. Xbox Toddy. Appreciate the double views. This guy's so into the show. Just such an amazing follower of mine. He's got 2 streams going. 2 streams going. This guy's doing what some of you should be doing. We got people out here that are not thumbing up the video. We got 315 eyeballs in here and only 173 thumbs up. You know, this guy's out here working double time. Tater Toddy's out there doing business. He's in the garage late at night. His wife doesn't even know it. He's streaming 2 streams, wasting double the internet. What's Tater Toddy saying now? Walker, Josh. What did Josh say? Etienne, Walker, Rachaad White, JT, Hall, Chase. Okay. So what you're saying, Josh, is these are the calls you thought I was crazy on. Walker, the Etienne, the Rachaad White, JT, Hall, Chase. Okay. I got you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Josh. That means a lot coming from you, bro. Once hater, but now a follower. And I appreciate you. I respect you. And somebody said you had a nice head of lettuce, by the way. Trey, this is too long. Trey wants me to read this. Is what he's basically telling me, because this is too long, bro.
Trey Smitty, should I trade Aaron Jones for Dalvin if I can't weather the bye? Or should I trade Swift for Pacheco and use Pacheco as the fill in week 14?
Trade Aaron Jones for Dalvin. I'd probably take the chance on Dalvin, I guess. I don't love Dalvin, but, you know, there's some upside there. Just make sure you cuff him. But that could go either way. DK on this one, Clayton. I appreciate your super chat, by the way. Tater. Let's see what this. I wonder what this is going to be read as. These.
Tater Toddy tater tots with extra cheese. Upward turned hand with medium light skin tone gesturing with fingers pinched together. Distraught face with tightly closed eyes. Distraught face with tightly closed eyes. Distraught face with tightly closed eyes. Water droplets. Water droplets. Water droplets. Water droplets.
All right. Thank you, Toddy. Appreciate you. Smitty is the second option, Josh. Smitty, this is second option, Josh. Okay, thank you, Josh. Why is your name Jay then? I got you on my PS4, and I'm typing this on my phone. Nice. Thank you, pal. See, we got people all over streaming, double streaming. That's what I'm talking about. Mike Evans killed me today. He killed a lot of people today, bro. Mike Evans disappointed firmly. But he's also a good buy low, in my opinion. I think he's an excellent buy low. I think that if you need to buy low on somebody at the wide receiver position that might have quietly crafty, sneaky good wide receiver 1 value, it might be Mike Evans. I like CMC's schedule, playoff schedule, Seattle, Washington, Raiders, close games. I got you, Avi. I don't mind you liking CMC, my guy. Smitty, where do you rank? Oops. Where do you rank DK rest of season? Like borderline wide, like more like hot, super high end wide receiver 2. You could call him your number one wide receiver if you were like stacked at running back and quarterback, and then you had like Andrews at tight end, and then you had DK and Olave, and like that. But I much prefer him being your number two wide receiver, your elite number two wide receiver, like number 14 overall type of wide receiver, 12 overall, 13 overall, something close to that. Also Garrett Wilson, Rachaad White, or Monty at the flex. I think Garrett Wilson's pretty safe, like I suppose, but I'll probably roll Rachaad White if we're feeling he's starting again. Let's say Leonard Fournette's out again, or they say Rashaad's the starter, or we don't feel very confused by the workload divide, then Rachaad White might be the guy still over even Garrett Wilson. But Garrett Wilson's a safe option if things don't look amazing for Rachaad White going forward. I think I'm gone for my super chat. Do you like Gabe Davis or Godwin? I like Godwin. Thank you for your super chat, Duvall. I did answer it. I like Godwin. I'm okay with Godwin being ranked higher. I really am. I'm fine with that. But I do think they'll both do well. Yep, I watch on my Apple TV and type on my phone too. Attaboy, Alton. 2 views. Attaboy. That's what I'm talking about. Nathan, hey, Smitty, trade away CMC and Debo for Diggs and Dalvin Cook. CMC and Debo for Diggs and Dalvin Cook. It's just like a kick to the nads both ways, bro. Like, here, let me shake your hand, kick you in the nads. Let me kick you in the nads and shake you in the hands. It's like, you know, we've got Diggs, big upgrade over Debo. CMC, Cook. What's the chat think? What side do you want to be on? CMC, Debo, or Diggs and Cook? Kind of think Diggs and Cook. Let's see what the chat thinks, but Diggs and Cook probably. It's a tough one. It's a close call. Very, very close call. I'm glad the Bucks lost as a Panthers fan. Yeah, I wanted Rachaad White. I wanted the Bucks to win for Rachaad White. If the team won, it was good for Rachaad White. It was good for, hey, this is working. Let's keep it all going the same way. You know, now they lost. It's like, I don't want them getting bright ideas that maybe they need to revert back to Leonard Fournette or something. White to the moon, absolutely. To the moon. Rachaad White season, baby. So I'm talking about Diggs, Cook, Diggs side. There you go. Diggs side it is. Charles T with a super chat from work right now. Germany. Yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting Charles is in Germany. Next week, Fields, Deshaun Watson, or Carr. Fields, Watson, or Carr. Well, if Fields is playing, you're playing Fields. Can I get a call into the show one day? Charles, are you on my text line? I forget. On my WhatsApp? Are you on my text line, Charles? I think you might be. I forget if you are. If you are, just dial me right now. If you want, if you're on it. Watson or Carr. So, like, I'd probably say, like, maybe I go Watson in the revenge game. I like Carr a little bit, but he scared me this week. He got injured. If Fields goes, you play Fields. If not, I mean, it's kind of a coin toss. I guess I would lean Watson, but very, very close. Ideas on the new Mars men for next season. Brian, that's going to all be dropped on January 1, my broski. Or slightly before, it kind of depends, but it will be January 1. I'm rooting for Divorce Brady, okay? Divorce Brady getting ready to dominate rest of season, says Travis. I do think I'm maybe a week early on his comeback. I mean, it was a close game. I wish they'd won it. Only watch you on one stream, but I dropped those thumbs up. Appreciate you, Jason. Wins and losses don't matter in fantasy points. That's right, Travis. Yes, I'm on the text line. Go ahead if you want to call in. I'll play it out loud. Just dial in. I normally don't answer, so don't call the text line ever. But dial in and I'll answer right now for you. I don't know if it'll ring or not. But dial in if you wanna talk right now. It's fine. In Germany, what time is it in Germany? Can't call right now at work. Okay. Bijan Robinson's probably in the top 8 overall in redraft for me. Maybe higher. Hasty worth the claim. Yeah, he'll be on the waiver wire show. I don't know where yet, but he'll be on it for sure. Quantum Flow, what is the risk? Gallo wants to know. Players don't play thinking, I need to get 11 more fantasy points. That's true, Daniel, but they should respect the fantasy football game, as should coaches and teams, because we help pay their salaries. If they didn't have us putting money on Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty, Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty, get up to $100 bonus match on your first deposit. If we weren't dropping over-unders and doing all this amazing goodness, you know what I'm saying? Then they wouldn't be getting paid what they're being paid. We're upping the ratings. We're upping the all the stats that get them with jersey sales. Us playing in 3 and 4 and 5 leagues instead of 1 gets us more involved, watching more football. Revenue coming in because of us. More people ordering the NFL Sunday Ticket or the Red Zone. Money coming to everybody. We are responsible for inflating the salaries to the degree we are inflating them. The fantasy shows that give news coverage, that give buzz to a player that says, I want a new contract or I want to be traded, that wouldn't have been initiated or forced into play if it weren't for people like our show and us forcing people's eyeballs onto the news to create more and more buzz. So they need to give us respect for our role in fantasy football or in the NFL. The role of fantasy football in the NFL, they need to give respect for. Joseph with a super chat. Vargas, hey Smitty, can you judge my team? 3 more days until the trade deadline. I have Lamar, Cook, Etienne, Stevenson, Jamar, Lamb, Evans, Freiermuth, benches, Jeff Wilson, Christian Watson, Najee, and Mike Williams. You got a lot of depth to couple with the players up above. So if it's me, I'm taking Jeff Wilson, I'm taking Christian Watson, I'm taking Najee, and I'm trying to couple them with maybe a Cook, an Etienne, a Stevenson, or an Evans to try and upgrade those spots, or Freiermuth. So if Christian Watson can get me a Mark Andrews and I have to give up Freiermuth, a lot of people may not do that. I would still do that. I still believe Mark Andrews can win a league that way. Or if you want to play it safer, you could try and go get an Adams using Evans and Christian Watson. You could try and go get a Justin Jefferson using Evans and Jeff Wilson. Don't think these trades can't happen. They can happen. They happen every day. I see them every day. I hear them every day on my text line. You won't know until you try. Upgrading Cook into, you could go Henry if you believe in Henry and don't think Henry will get hurt. He's only got 5 weeks left. He could definitely make it through it. Cook and Wilson, Cook and Christian Watson probably more so. Najee and potentially Evans for an Adams or a Hill or a JJ. These are all options. Throw them all together. Use the bench guys to try and upgrade that lineup. Guys to not touch. You could even go after Hurts using Lamar and maybe a Christian Watson. Guys to not touch. I would say I wouldn't trade Etienne because you're not going to get what you deserve right now, and I believe he probably will be fine. Stevenson's got increased value coming. Only sell him high. I like Lamb. Really, everybody there is tradable. Jamar Chase is tradable at the right price, but probably better off waiting and holding him. Burrow would be a good buy low using Lamar and Christian Watson, or Najee and Lamar for Burrow and something else to try and upgrade somewhere else. Those are all options, bro. Go get it done. Appreciate your super chat. $10 holler gets a moonshot. So appreciate you. Let's see here. Super chat. So Joseph, I got yours. Charles T, I got yours. Avi, I think I answered yours. The playoff schedule one, or at least I showed it on screen. I think we're all caught up. We're caught up on super chats. I think I'm going to head out. It's 2 hours and 6 minutes. Not a bad little Sunday night live stream. We've been live 3 times today. So I think I'm going to call it quits. 300 of you in here, 200 thumbs up. Please punch the thumb up button on the way out the door. All 300 of you, please hit that thumb up button. It helps me do more shows like this. The more these shows get traction, the more I do them. You know what I mean? Like the more one-off shows I do as we grow. So it helps you to help me. I'm live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday, which means I'll be back here at 7 p.m. tomorrow. But I might be back earlier because I'm live whenever news breaks. If you're sitting around and news breaks, it's super big. Just know, come to my channel. I'm probably live within 2 to 5 minutes. Usually. Sometimes I wait depending on the news, and I got to make sure I get the correct information before I jump live. But usually I'm live the minute news breaks. So Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Live whenever news breaks. And I'm also live every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at midnight Eastern. And then sometimes here on Sunday night we do that as well. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Appreciate you. Thank you to my, and real quickly, thank you to my super chatters. I want to call you guys out. Ryan, Quantum Flow, Brian, Angel, Avi, Duvall, Avi, Charles T, Exit, Joseph Vargas, Mark Cleveland, Corey, Ted, A-Rock, Quantum Flow again, Tomsky, and Clayton. Appreciate you guys all for dropping those super chats. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. I thought I tagged everybody, but maybe I missed one. Appreciate you all. See you all tomorrow. Hit that like button on your way out the door. Appreciate you.
Tater Toddy, thank you Smitty. Code, upward turn hand with medium light skin tone gesturing with fingers pinched together. Code, upward turn hand with medium light skin tone gesturing with fingers pinched together. Code, upward turn hand with medium light skin tone gesturing with fingers pinched together. Code, upward turn hand with medium light skin tone gesturing with fingers pinched together.
You are offer sex. You are made offer sex.